structure in our body, how electrons are moving or isolating in the wires. I mean, this is a lot of just basic things. Basically, people cannot make money out of science. Because science is just a pure knowledge. What people making money on is engineering and technology. And both of those are application of the science in real problems. It's either designing a machine or designing a process or designing a program. This is where science are fitting with the ideas to engineering and technology. So that is, I wanted to be sure that science to a degree states the most in-depth understanding of how everything are. But when you live in normal life, what you're dealing with it not with like scientific knowledge of it, but the technological implications of that, like computer or refrigerator or airplane. Those are how it's connected, right? So let's talk about specific part of technology, which is information technology. And this is what information is. Information technology is the part of technology which is dealing with this development, maintenance, and use of computer systems. So pretty much a part of it, again, it is like things which now, as Google said, 100% in our daily life. Every company, every household dealing with this, right? So as a result, there's a great news. The great news is people need help of people who really knows how to do it. So there are plenty of jobs on different levels in information technology. Now, the question is, how do people who never dealt with them with this kind of technology before, how they enter into it? All right, so this is exactly what I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about why it is a satisfying career, because I think, well, truth is, I love what I do. Then I want to explain to you different levels, what people do in different kind of positions, because to a degree it's connected to when you are in the process of selecting what it is I want to do. You are thinking, is my kind of habits, or my character, or my way of thinking, or my way of talking, how it match? Would it match? I have no idea. So that's why it's nice to know what people are doing and then kind of have idea. All right, then we talk about careers, about the why those jobs are still open, how many of them and why. And then we will talk about how to start on this path. Well, why I love what I do. Okay, never two identical days, never. It's always different. It's not like you're coming in and every day you put the same button 300 times. Never. It never happened like this. Every day it is a different challenge, it is a different task, it is a different opportunity. And this is another thing. Once you have this opportunity, when you have this problem, you resolve it. But it's just, you learn something new. I don't know, when I would be investigating something which doesn't work, or for whatever reason doesn't work the way people expected, normally it means we don't understand why, and when we understood why, I learned something. I never knew that's the way how it worked. Boom, learning opportunity. I feel by the end of the day, I learned something I didn't know before. This is extremely satisfying to me. Wow, that is the other thing. So people preserve with this problem, you come in and you're like a magician, suddenly you got things resolved. So very rewarding. People are very grateful. You are feeling like very self-confident because you resolved something. I cherish people with whom I work. Well, not everybody can work very, very nicely to each other, but when you have smarter people, and it's just, IT generally select people smarter because you always deal with the solutions in necessity of finding problem solutions. People who actually stay in this field are very smart, and it's so rewarding to communicate with smart people. I have a lot of friends. It doesn't matter that I don't live in Chicago anymore, but I still have those friends. If I need to resolve some problem, and I know this guy actually ended up in working for Hitachi storage solutions. He is my friend. I'll call and say, like, Chris, how could that not work? So, yes, we worked together many years ago, but we stayed and connected. Why? Because we respect each other, because we know that we're dealing with somebody very smart. So, and then it comes to the point, as Bukla said, information technology worked for multiple businesses. As you stay in this business, you learn other businesses. You can be a healthcare IT provider, and you can learn how medical field works. You work for the bank. You would know how bank works. The law firm, you know how the law firm works. You become acquainted to so many different aspects of life. Your horizon is widening, and that is very nice thing. Knowledge is truly power. And now, finally, it is actually well-paid jobs. And they are plenty, because the more we live, the more and more and more technology penetrates normal life. First of all, those are telecommunications. We have the phone lines coming to our house. We have the lines coming to telecom, cell towers. Those are telecom, right? We have internet, we call it lines, but in fact, it is like providers who are actually managing the traffic over those telecommunication lines. We have Wi-Fi, we have electrical infrastructure, we have a lot of stuff. Okay, I am not going to talk about telecommunication jobs. That is very special aspect. The majority of people who are working for that industry is actually people who are actually electrical engineers. They are not computer scientists. Okay. We have a network devices. I'm talking about devices which is like routers, switches, all kind of things which we use, wireless access points, this is the kind of thing. Could be very complex and hairy, but that's what I will be talking about. We're talking about server, PC, laptops, phones, tablets. All of those run their special operating systems. Those are the things which is super, super necessary. And we will talk a little bit more. Internet of Things. So that becomes a lot of things which you connected to, I don't know, your coffee maker, which you can program, your garage opener, which you can look up on the internet. And that was my one time I lived in mountains, and every time I will be flying back to Chicago, I will say, oh my God, did I close the garage door? Oh my God. So, okay, finally install this thing. She can look into the phone. It's like, garage closed. Oh, thank you. That is Internet of Things. Is it dangerous thing? Super dangerous. Because if I can open and close my garage door, so can the hacker. Okay? Okay? So then security becomes super important for Internet of Things. Super important. Move our way. As I said, I don't have enough patience for that. But that is a special thing which people do, and it's very special and very, very, very different type of work versus I'm going to talk about. And there is a storage. You know, we have this enormous file. I mean, all these photographs, all these scan things. Where's they at? Where's they stored? They now stored in this huge server farms, which are located where? In data centers. So we will talk about that a little bit. Okay. So once again, I'm not going to talk about telecommunication. I'm not going to talk about application development. It is very, very complex area, and we're not going to touch it. All right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about the blue things, about what are different career paths associated with this kind of technology. I will be talking about design, installation, support of computer networks, about the support of servers and the farms, about the way how we support business, and it's about the way how it connects to the security in that area. Okay? I'm not going to talk about software development, telecommunication, database administration, and that kind of things which call master data management. Very important area. I can just touch on this. That became more and more important because now people accumulate so much data. Imagine, we used to be coming to the doctor and they have paper files. Paper files, they can look you up, right? Now what? Now HIPAA came, Now, they scan it all, and the government regulation is to keep it till the life of the patient. Till you die, they must keep it. So as a result, where is this document stored? Oh my God! In our hospitals, they merged. The doctors go from one hospital to another. So now they need to find how we merge all this different information from different hospitals, different insurance companies. That became master data management. Huge, huge thing. Sometimes it's super risky because now we're talking about patient's life. They're confused. John Smith from Illinois to John Smith from Phoenix. Oh my God, he can die. No, yeah, because now it's very important to track information very correctly. That is very, very hairy area, very important, developing very, very fast. Data design installation of computer network. I'm very happy that there is not a single IP address here. It took me some time to find the diagram out of my, it is actually mine. So what it is presenting to you is really the way how network engineers looked in the world. Okay? They looked in the world that particular way. Okay. If you look at it, that's what it said. This is a data center. It's undisclosed location in Phoenix. You should be there. If you haven't been in data center, oh my God, this is very rewarding thing. First of all, they scan your retina. Then there's these big guys with machine guns. Then you go to the special rooms, they scan you out. And so only that you can get in. And then you go and it's a Rex. And those Recs are all in mesh. There's all files in FBI and things in hospitals and us. So it's all very secure locations. And why we want to be there? Because A, they have their own electricity or own air conditioning. They have like, you know, huge cisterns with the fuel so that if everything is going down, this location will not for hours. So it's kind of, but the way how technology works around that is just fascinating. So anyway, this is part of my network, which stays in which is pretty much all my servers. To a degree, what that is. And I will just tell the word, and you're like, oh, yes, this is my private cloud. This is the way how cloud actually is. It is a big data center with a group of servers with the data stored on it, located. They're connected to each other and to connect it to the internet somehow through very complex mixed internet. You can see that multiple of those locations, I don't know, gazillions of internet service providers, huge pipe. And this is my personal private cloud. This is how all clouds are. Somewhere, 2, 3, 5 data centers located where Amazon or Google stores their stuff. So they're stored in the data center and connect you through the internet to their location. This is what cloud is. I don't know, they probably called it cloud because of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is the way how now I think about it as a network engineer, right? So there's my servers and my storage, and there's like all my offices. Okay, San Antonio, Austin, Prescott, Tucson, Las Vegas, Dallas, MP, okay? This is how network engineers think about their data. They think, how a person from MP can find the information and in the storage and the data center. So, what kind of routers, what kind of protocols, what kind of security need to be applied on all these devices so that the person who opened the application on their PC can get to this information. That's the way how it happened. I open it, it went here, it changed, it readdressed through the cloud, readdressed through my network, and then it's coming, that's where the servers stay. Okay? This is how network engineers think. Why it's so very interesting? First of all, you probably know that now we not only run data through the network, we also run all the phone systems. So you need to be very sure. And sometimes you may know that. You call Amazon, you call some kind of support. And the line started like, you know what it is?
Static?
And you know why? because they are not prioritizing their traffic correctly through their network.
Can you say that again?
Because they not prioritize the traffic correctly. The phone traffic needs to be specifically prioritized versus data traffic, because otherwise you have the static on the line. So this is one of those, I don't know if anybody heard the word VLAN. It's a virtual local area network. So they put the special VLANs. This is the special thing for me, especially being in the law firm. I can't afford people going to my office and billable hours, billing for this conversation, and instead of having a nice conversation with Antonio, they are like, no. So this is their network engineer job, to be sure that this traffic prioritized, to be sure that the data sets open as they open applications. This is not just what happened to them, literally. There's nobody ever now stored data on their PC. The data is stored in the cloud. So how people from yeah, they need to reach their router need to tell them how to get through the internet, how to find that particular entry to my data center. This is what network engineers do. Very specific, very detailed, very in-depth knowledge about how traffic and how electronic packages are traveling through the wire. So that is why they paid a lot of money. Because they need to know every device, every router, every switch, everything on their network. And to me, sometimes it's surprising when I have people network on my level. It happens a lot because I agree with the routers, but a lot of people did not. So when you will ask me what type of routers it is, I will tell you right away. Oh, I have a Max 100, and I have a Max 65 there. I have a Max 84 there. I know exactly. And they all program differently. They have different speed, and they are very interesting to do. Okay, so the engineers which are working on this, they actually design, they select vendors, they select their, how connected, and then program those devices. This is what we do. All right, why in demand? They need it because the more we live, the bigger amount of information travels through the internet. To pass this amount of information in very short period of time, it is very challenging. So you may remember something, or you sometimes get into this, you're in somebody's house, you're trying to open the picture and the loading. Okay? That in business, no. So this is why the business, which you have 300, sometimes 1,000 people are trying to open their credit card, okay? They need to have it fast, boom. And then 3,000 people, 300,000 people, okay? So then, the speed is absolutely necessary. So is security. All right, so that's what they learn, how internet works, how protocols are, what are vendor-specific, different vendors. Cisco and Juniper probably the most used now. And well, a lot of them are computer science people, but not all. Some of them just got certifications and a lot of experience, and they can succeed in this field. And so college degree gives you very profound knowledge about how that happens, so it helps to understand. But certification is what gives you detail, up-to-date detail, how every device works. Right? So those are the list of certifications, and you have this on your desk, the table. You can see it, you can find it. There is a list of certifications over there. Those are the most acceptable ones. I can tell you, I hired quite a lot of people, and the last time I hired network administrator actually, and my demand was to have the person certified. So I said one of those certifications was required for the job. Okay, so that is a good thing to do. Some of those hard to get. Some of those require up to 9 tests. So, but it's 60K. Okay. 60K of the job, to go. All right. So now, data center, we already saw some of the pictures. Majority of those are not looking like this. They are surrounded by cages. In government cages, they are also surrounded like of a mesh or even on top, so nobody can sneak in it whatever way. So there are some much more interesting design for that. Well, in how they work with this is really the end of the cloud. This is where CPU of the cloud is. This is the processors which are running the processes. Search, for example, you do Google search, right? Where is it goes? What is the PC or server? This is one of those servers. They are blades. Actually, they are. It used to be like the server is like a dollar, right? Now the server is a blade, which is actually pretty much what we showed you. It's actually like a motherboard, but super duper complex motherboard. And this is what they are. Those are blades. So how they work is they have different capacities and understanding how those blades are configured, how they work together, how much CPU power you need to run different applications. This is what those people do. Okay, sorry about it. Say, okay, this demand huge power by cloud computing. When I started with this firm 2 years ago, well, they didn't have cloud. So, and that we all knew we need to have it. And why we need to have it? We have like 9 offices. I mean, we cannot connect all 9 offices to the same center. You need it to connect it through the internet. So we are talking about cloud connectivity, right? So this is called 5 years ago, no. Now, basically 100%. All right, so what do you need to know? You need to know server OS, you need to know virtualization. Virtualization is a must now. Virtualization, even if you will ask people who in this field a long time ago, they'll say, oh, virtualization is a past. And why they say that? Because there is another term now which is called hyperconvergence. So hyperconvergence, and you not only virtualize the, let's say this, there are 3 servers which are running on the same blade. One server you're located, I don't know, 1 terabyte. Another like 1 terabyte and another 1 terabyte. And then as you started to process, it turned out that one server used only, I don't know, 400 gig. But the other one is already approaching its terabyte. So the question is, it's not a good idea if that one is staying empty of space and the other one is starting for the day, for the storage. So this is what virtualization and hyperconvergence does. It allows you, an engineer, to migrate the resources across multiple servers so that you have the best utilization of resources. So this is why virtualization became a root of cloud computing. Things which started to be super duper important. Note, Amazon, which used to be what? The trading company, right? You know, goods moving, right? Now they enter this area where they train people how to manage the cloud. All right? So they manage the cloud, and they even have agreed with this because people now Amazon selling their virtual servers, not. So you can go and you can rent the space on Amazon farm. So they want to know somebody, engineer, who will come with the knowledge how to do this installation. Okay? So yeah, interesting enough, and it was kind of surprising because my MCSE used to read as Microsoft system engineer, but Microsoft is changing it, and now those changes to, look at this. It now said solution expert in server infrastructure. So even the title looks the same. Contents is very different. So it's kind of interesting how everything migrated. Okay. Now, the most of the jobs are there. Those are departments, computer departments, which support businesses. Okay? So all the gambits. system support, system administrator, network administrator, application administrator, IT manager, IT director, chief operational information officer. All that. So obviously the range of the salaries are huge, because now we're talking about somebody who can have, like CIO, can have in IT department several thousand people. So this is why that range. Now, what they do everything, literally everything. So there are people who starting from the point of supporting existing applications. There are people who are doing budgeting and planning what's next step. There are people who are working with the businesses asking, what are we going to do? What do we need to do? How many things you need to sell? How many people you need to answer by the phone? How many gadgets you're going to sell or produce? And this is it. Let me tell you one thing, which is one time which I was in one of the CIO meetings, and suddenly I see the guy, and he was with with the produce, you know, like so storage company which was storing produce. And I'm like, what is so special? Why do I need this enormous IT and all this system to run this kind of stuff? I said, you know nothing. And now he's telling me the story. And it was some years ago. There's this super complex systems which actually load, they have in these warehouses, they have different rooms when they store, say, tomatoes and grapes and, you know, carrots and blah, blah, blah. And they have a computer regulated systems which actually ripening those fruits, preserving those vegetables. They have all fully automated. That rack does this rack does this rack does that. I was like, whoa, who knew? But, well, that's what it is. It is a very complex, this is why it's very, very, very big varieties of opportunities. It is in demand. Because, and I specifically looked that up yesterday. I looked up about how many businesses with more than 20 employees we have in Arizona. And there's 20,000 businesses. And just Arizona here, majority here in the valley. So, these organizations all need IT workers. I can tell you, it is incredible. I mean, when I started to hire people a long time ago, but my 3 last years were eye-opening. I had hell of a time to find people. Really difficult time. So this is my personal message to you. You wouldn't understand how many jobs is there. But those jobs, the more specified, the more trained, the more educated you are, the more you're in demand. All right. What do you need to know? Start from desktop to servers to virtualization. Interesting that because of such a difficult time we have to hire employees, a lot of organizations will pay for your certifications, will pay for you. You just need to be working on some level of position in the organization, prove to be reliable and good worker and capable, and after that, the organization will pay for your certification because it's easier and better for us to pay you than to go and screen. Last time I did help desk was, my God, about 300 resumes. I almost died. So, no, yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. And ended up hiring somebody's friend because I just couldn't get the right level of person. I mean, and I was not looking for some super duper knowledge about virtualization of hybrid conversions. I was looking about simple support of desktop. God's sake, all right? No, okay. So, I would rather have the right guy who actually willing to learn than to have somebody completely fully ready for next level, okay? So this is my way of dealing with it. Even entry-level jobs is about certified right away. And then they're paying for your certification. Now, well, certification experience are preferred on that, but as high you go, the more degrees people would like you to have. Because now you're looking kind of like bigger and bigger picture. So just to be able to comprehend the complexity of the business, that's why All right, so now we're coming to this thing. I'm not going to dwell on it because this is a very super topic, right? Well, it became very touchy, and this is why. Number of attacks of cyber attacks are huge. A lot of companies don't even know that they had a breach of security. They just didn't know. The information is stolen, and they will discover it like in several years. Oh my God. The cost of that is $3.3 million per incident. Okay? So it's better to have somebody watching your information technology than to pay $3.3 million. Okay? So this is, look, how many jobs are opening. This position started to open only 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was rare, very rare in the company to have any position which called security. Almost nowhere. Now, 769,000 jobs already filled, and those are opening. All right, now, because that's a security thing, this is why certifications are required. But luckily, there are all different levels. There are some entry level, and just go, and I have this paperwork so you can pull up and look up there. And you go and you look up in the internet. There are some of them are that, especially global information assurance certifications. They have all different levels: entry level, next level, medium level, and so on. So this is where a lot of opportunities lie. But well, you need to be precise and interested in this. Okay, where to start? Where to start? The start is education. Hey, college is a brilliant way to do it. You may find some beautiful possibility for financing this education and so on. But you also can do this. You also can start working on the entry level position somewhere and continue with your education. It will take longer, but you will have experience which will be very valuable as you progress with that. Okay? Nowadays, majority of organizations will pay you certification, but not your college degree. It is just too expensive. College became so expensive that organizations stay shy of it. So you can get some kind of a government support for that, but companies will not, unfortunately. So, then you can attend training classes, learn very basic skills, maybe go into internship for months or two, gain even more experience, and then go in entry level and try to get as much knowledge as possible. And the most important is active. The guy I finally hired for this help desk position like a year ago. It was really simple thing he needed to do. But oh my God, now he is in charge of managing certain amount of very complex systems. He was very involved in doing everything in very meticulous and active way. And of course, what I do, I pay for this certification now because I know I want to keep the guy. Okay? Update certification, study past tests. As people, if you have people like me in charge of IT organization, we will recognize it because it's so hard to hire the talent. We have incredible shortage of very high demand engineers. I can tell you, it is incredible. So we will be giving you possibility. But if you have initiative to move on, to do extra step, to take over some administration of different system, learn a little bit about the device, learn about this, learn about that. Before you know, you are actually becoming an expert. And when you are becoming an expert, that's where the whole thing started going your way. That's where the whole thing is. If you are an expert, people call you with suggestion of the job. Hunters, headhunters will be hunting you. And people will be calling and asking, no, it is true, it is true, it is true. And they will be saying, this is why it's kind of challenging for me as a director to keep my staff. I mean, I need to have him really happy because I know the moment they actually progress to the point of an expert, they are going to have this call. I want them to say, no, I'm happy here, I want to stay here, I have more opportunities here. Okay? But it may not be the case. It may be the case when they actually really have this huge wing. And then they will come to me, and I remember that one conversation, actually with this Hitachi guy. He came to me and he said, Nina, I'm so sorry. I had this offer. It's like, Dawn, it is a huge compliment to me. That he starts like a help desk guy, barely gaining the traction. And boom, several storage companies like Hitachi, AMC is hunting him to come to work for them. It's like, this is great. I mean, of course I hate to lose you, but it is a compliment. It means I selected the right guy, he was progressing so wonderfully, and now he's in demand. And it's true. He moved on. Well, it's one track. The other track is that if you are really, really good with project management and you really can understand the business needs, translate it to the IT solutions, to understand how to work with people, to understand what are the general directions for this particular company, you are going in the management side. Okay. So it is also possible. Well, and that's in any case, even if you are technology architect or you're director or whatever, you become the one planning things. You are the one suggesting the solution. You become the one who comes to the owners and says, wait a minute, you have your servers here, you need to go to the cloud. There's no way. You will always have Texas office where unhappy because they cannot reach this particular building. You cannot have your servers here. Your building can go down, and together with that, another 8 offices. No, this cannot be done. So you become the person like this. And it's super rewarding because now you are a trusted business advisor. Okay. You can join consulting services because they are very hungry for people who are good on doing projects. And they hunt. I mean, I can tell you, it's incredible amount of opportunities there. But of course, for them, they need that specific certification, that specific experience. But again, they would be.
For these entry-level positions, is it just for like younger people?
No, absolutely not.
Do
Absolutely
they have to
not.
have some kind of knowledge of computers?
But as I said, you better have some kind of very basic knowledge because you need to be useful day one. You're paying money not to learn, you're paying money to do the job. But if you can do the job, even in a very simple way, then you can progress from there. So, and again, you do need to have this opportunity, you need to try to learn it whatever possible way. Well, and then you can be freelance consulting. I know 2 of my good friends who actually used to be PPA, worked for me in one of the Chicago companies. At some point decided, no, I don't care about somebody assurance of being like health insurance thing. How was that? I would rather go to really high money, pay whatever I need because money is incomparable. But this person, if you're a freelance consultant, you need to find your own clients. You need to be a very, very business-oriented person. It's not for everybody, but the rewards are huge. And by the way, in this capacity, you're constantly looking for new project. You're starting a new project, and you're already looking for the next one. So some people cannot function like that. They will say, oh, I barely started. Let me come down. No. In that positions, come down is not the question. All right. Then, of course, you can open your own business. Yesterday, I had a guy who came to me. He was providing help desk, and he came in and we talked about. I didn't talk to him for a year or something, and he said, "Oh, I actually expanding my company." It's like, "Whoa!" And he said, "I just bought like another 2 businesses because we are in demand. People want the services I provide." And I'm like, "Whoa! In 1 year, you bought 2 more companies?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's incredible. So the possibility there is beautiful. And then, for me personally, this is the most important point. This, I do not ever want to stop working. It is my life. I like it. Oh yes, we have issues. Oh yes, there's a problem. Oh yes, there are unhappy people here and there. But truth is, this is my life. It's experience. It's working with people. My life would be empty without what I do. And I don't care too much about it. I mean, it may be that I will go to work for a smaller company because their technology or their needs are more appealing to me than the bigger one. Fine, I'm fine. That's exactly what happened to this company I'm with. Because the bigger companies had huge difficulties to go, say, for the cloud. Because they have multi-million-dollar investments in the servers and storage and this and this and this. And they just cannot departure from them, right? And this company said, oh, we are such a growing company, we need to do something. We want to go cloud. We want to upgrade everything. We want completely new design. So fine, this is for me. This is where I want to be. So I can tell you, this is the most important thing which I can say. You are in control of your life. You want to do what you do. And this is, if you every day, you go to the office, and you're not dreading, oh no, again. So you're really feeling like in touch. If you checking like emails through their whole weekend, and you are, yesterday I talked to my network administrator, actually, new one. And I was like, I'm sorry, we have this slowness and this application, blah, 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 could you please look at it? And she was working on it, and I called her yesterday night and said, thank you very much for Saturday staying on top of it. And she's saying to me, are you kidding me? I love it. That's kind of what people I want. This is kind of happy. So, life is good. It can be true success. But you need to take the wheel and drive this car, your life, very thoughtful, very mindful way. And again, success is not coming like boom, right? And it can have some detours. But if you have an idea where it is you're going, you will be very successful.